beginning of May, I was in New York, and I went to see a man called Scott Belsky, who runs a platform called Behance, which is where lots and lots of creative people display their skills so clients can find them. I thought, why don't I give an hour's session to Scott at the Wired 2012 event? So we're going to do that. Please welcome Scott Belsky.
Thank you, David. It's an honor to be here, and it's the first time I've ever been asked to, or given the opportunity to curate a session of creative talent that really has risen to the top through all sorts of forces, and I'll tell you briefly about how this works. So I'm super, super excited about it. Just a quick prelude to the session is just a little bit about my team and I and our obsession with helping creative people actually create stuff. The sad truth, of course, is that most ideas never happen. And now some ideas should never happen, right? But even the greatest ideas suffer horrible odds. And the reason is often because we don't have the accountability to stick to a project to finish it. We get distracted from one idea to another idea to another idea and never make any one idea actually happen. Or we have a hard time putting food on our table, and so we abandon ideas to do other work that is less fulfilling. And the team, we've always tried to, this mission of helping empower creative careers is really at the ground of everything else we've built in Behance. And a lot of people don't realize, but that's really what we're trying to do, is empower and connect the creative world to actually make ideas happen. So here's just a quick overview of how this works, which is, I think, important before you understand or meet the folks that we're going to share with you today. About 1 million creatives from across all fields, whether it's industrial design, architecture, photography, illustration, motion graphics, animation, sound composition. Folks use this platform to showcase their work, and other people, as David mentioned, come to discover it. And this starts as just building a portfolio of projects with multimedia. And once you put this work out there, it starts spreading. And we've, for really the past 6 years, have been trying to build a platform that powers many other websites and many other places to try to get this work as much exposure as possible. And so we've started, powering other galleries for other companies and organizations. Just launched the National Design Awards Gallery for the Cooper Hewitt and a big color network for Pantone. And we also started all these other sort of curated sites. We invite really thoughtful people in each field to help curate some of the greatest work in the particular field and bring it to the surface. And then we've built the tools to help creatives have their own personal websites connected to the platform, with the whole idea of being able to aggregate all of this creative work that's being created in real time and be able to sort through some of the data. You can search for Nike or some other brand and start seeing what happens. And this becomes especially powerful when something happens in the world, like when the big Japanese earthquake happened. We came into work the next day and we typed in the word Japan, and we started seeing thousands of projects being created by people all across creative fields, all around the world, responding to this crisis. And we realized that this is probably the first time we're seeing the creative world react to crisis. And of course, we understand what happens in the world through the art around us, through what we see and hear. And so this is really powerful for us in seeing what the potential is to have the creative world on the same platform. So the question is, how does the best work get discovered? We have a little mechanism called Appreciate, where at the bottom of every single project, people can just push this little button if they like it, and it sort of strokes the ego of the person who created the work, and it's a nice reward, and you get obviously millions and millions of appreciations. But there's a real flaw with this system, and there's a flaw with the like on the internet as a whole, which is that sometimes the wrong stuff rises to the top. Anyone who goes to YouTube and looks at the most viewed YouTube videos of this week, usually it's something scantily clad and not so wonderful. So the question is, how do we combat this? And how do we make sure that the community can curate, that anyone who comes in can like stuff, and that helps? But also, can we engage professional curators and even start thinking about who is liking what? And one of the things we're thinking about a lot these days is the difference between the critical mass, how many people like something, and the credible mass, which is more about who likes something. And can we use that to determine quality and help more great work rise to the surface? And if we get this right, we can maybe push towards this notion of creative meritocracy. Somehow, some way, the greatest creative talent around the world getting the most opportunity, like an opportunity to be on the Wired stage and share what they do with all of us. And so with that, I wanted to talk a little bit about, or introduce rather, the folks that we're going to have speak. And our first, we're going to discover some of the people that are being discovered.